Yo, Nakun here. In today's video, I want to show you an interactive video that I created using Breakdance and ElementHive. And this is probably something that I haven't seen done in Breakdance yet. So this is probably going to be the first time you might be seeing it, but it is actually a cool effect that you can add to your website right now to boost it from just being like a normal video playing on your website to something that is a bit more interactive. So let's go into this. Let me show you how this works. So on here, we do have a video because you can see that there's a play button over here. So when you click on the play button, what happens is that the video starts playing. So let's see how that works. So when I click on play, the video will start playing, right? And one thing that you also see is that we do have this playing thing going on, right? When I click on pause, it changes to pause. When I click back on play, it plays. One thing that you should also know is that this video or this effect only works when you have uploaded your own video. So a self-hosted video is the only way for this to work. So this should be like something like a little teaser. It shouldn't be your entire full video that you have shot, just something really small that you want to tease people with. You should actually think about using this effect that I'm going to tell you. All right, that being done, let's get into Breakdance and let's use Breakdance and ElementHive to try and recreate this from scratch. All right, so I'm going to go back into my developers panel and I'm going to open my structure panel and let's collapse this. I'm going to duplicate that, right? So I just duplicated it, and for the one at the top, let's go to the top. I am going to save this. I'm going to go back over here. I want to remove what I just did here. Right, that is good. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's go back to the top. Let me scroll to the top. All right, so now we are going to start recreating this from scratch. All right, so to do that, let's remove the video that we created, right? So this is our video container. I am going to remove it. So now we have that spot totally empty. All right, so first thing first, what do you want to do? How did I build it? So how I did it was I'm going to add a div, right? So that is a div, and I'm going to give this div a name. Let's call it video, COTN, right? So that is going to be the div that is going to hold the video. And the next thing is I want to add a video. So let me add a video. So this is going to be a video. What I also want to do is that, as I said, if you use a YouTube video or a Dailymotion video, it is not going to work. You need to upload your own video. So I'm going to click on upload and I'm going to pick this video. I'm going to click on choose. So you don't see the video because our container or our div doesn't have a width. So clicking back on our div, we are going to go into container. And then with the width, let's give it a width of 800 pixel, probably a bit too small. Let's give it something like 1200. All right, probably that is too big, so I'm just going to do 1000. All right, I think this is fine. All right, so after doing that, now we need to implement some of the other things that we did say, like the player and then the text and so on and so forth. To do that, what we are going to do is when you go back to the front end, we want to implement the play thing over here. And for us to do that, I am going to add a div. I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm adding a div. So that is the div. And what I'm going to do is let's go into container. Let's go into width and get a width of 100%. So it covers the entire width of our main container. And then for height too, I'm going to give it a height of 100%. The reason why you don't see that the height has changed is because it doesn't know what 100% is. We are going to fix that later on. So now what I'm going to do next is to go into my search. Make sure you have your cog icon selected. If you want to do that by using a shortcut, you can just hold Shift F and then make sure you select this Shift F and then you search for position, right? And then position, you want to make sure that you choose absolute. So this is going to be on top of your video. You need that to happen so that when you click, you have something to click on, because whatever place that we click over here, our video is going to play. So we need to have a div that is going to cover the entire video. If we only wanted the video to play when people click on, well, let's go down. If you want the video to play when people just click on the play button, we'll just need the play button. But what I wanted to implement was that anywhere that you click on here, your video should be able to play. All right. So that is my div. It is on top of my video. What I'm going to do next is I am going to go into my styling. I'm going to go into layout and I want to click on vertical and then align everything to the middle. And I'm going to add an icon, right? So an icon, play icon like that. And let's click on choose. Let's search for play. You can choose anyone that you want. We're going to select this. Let's go into styling, click on icon, click on color, and let's choose a color of our preference. You can even use gradient, right? So if we want to use gradient, we can use a white to a red like that if we do want that. And over here in style, we want to choose something more solid and we want to make sure that it is round. All right, so with the color for the background, I'm going to choose white, and then I'm going to reduce the opacity small like that, maybe not too subtle, or we can even do a red, you know. Let's spice this up a little bit so we do have something more like that, and then we can just click on save. So you have something more like, so you have your play button and then you have this div on here. All right, so the next thing will be is to implement the play and other things like that, but we don't want to start doing the animation. I want to add this thing over here that you do see, and then also this. And for us to do that, remember that when you click on pause, it pauses it. When you click on play, it plays it. But then when you click on play, the icon and everything goes away. I have set display none for those items when you click on play, so that you don't see them and then you don't interact with them anymore. But over here, these things, we don't want them to go into display none when we click on play. So we have to make sure that they are not inside this div over here. So what we can do is that we can call this one play button, right? All right, so let's click back on our video container, and then we want to add, the first thing that we want to add is this text over here, ElementHive demo. So I'm going to add just a normal text, right? Then normal text, I'm going to give it a name called ElementHive demo. Okay, and then let's go into styling, click on typography, whatever size that you want. I'm going to give it 0.95 rems, so something more like that. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to click on this cog icon and then search for position. So for position, I want to make this absolute. So it's going to go all the way to that side, but I want it to come forward in front of our video. So let's search for index. Make sure that index for this can be like 3, so it comes to the front. And the next thing that you want to do is I want to go into let's search for padding. Let's click on this cog icon, and I'm going to give it a padding of 20 pixel all around like that. All right, so we need to change the color so we can see what we are actually dealing with. So we have something more like this. So when I click on the side, it is over here, which is pretty cool. And the next thing that we want to do is to implement this play pause thing that we do see. All right, so to do that too, we want to make sure that we don't put that into our play button. Let's also change this one to video title, right? And then we want to add a new div, so a div, and this div is going to have a text. So let's go to the text, and then for the text, what we do want is we are going to implement playing, and then I'm going to add, we can do playing, and then we can bring up this bar over there. You can see that there is this separator over here. What we can also do is we can totally duplicate this and then just make this one into that bar. If you want to, just click back on this text, remove this, and the next thing that I want to do is to add an icon. So let's add an icon over here like this. And then for this icon, what I do want is, you know something, we can just go into our play, copy this icon, come back over here, and then we can just paste the design. All right, going into our search, and then we can just search for play. Right, and then let's go into styling, and we want to make this a bit more smaller. Let's say 12 pixels, and then for the pattern, let's say 7. All right, so I want to take this text and then move it up. That will be the separator. Let's click back on our div. Let's give it a name called play pause. Right, and then let's go into our layout. Let's make this one horizontal. Let's center it like that, and then let's give it a gap of 10 pixels. All right, the next thing I want to do is click back on our plain text, go into styling, go into typography, and then I'm going to give it a 0.75 REMs. And then for go into advanced, I want to make sure that this is all caps, so we have something more like that. All right, I'm going to click back on our play pause div. And then for alignment, I want to make sure this is centered. Is this centered? All right, I think one more thing that I want to do is go back on text. I want to go into line height, make it a 1. Go back on this text too. I want to go into line height, and I also make this one a 1. All right, I think that is okay. All right, so next thing that I want to do is I want to give this one our play pause container. I want to give it a padding, so padding of probably 5 pixels, and then for the left and right, I'm going to give it like 10 pixels. Okay, and then I am going to implement some background color, so background color of white, and then we can just reduce the opacity. Okay, and then let's go into our border. Let's do the border of like 7 pixels. All right, if you want to add a border, a normal border, sorry, not a border of 7 pixels, but border radius of 7 pixels and border width of 1, you can also reduce the color of the opacity also over here. That is something that you want to do. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is to make sure that this is also positioned absolute. So whilst our play pause div is selected, let's do Shift F and then search for position. And then we're going to make sure that this is absolute. All right, and we're going to place it to the bottom, so we can do 20 pixels here, and then the left we can also do 20 pixels here. I think that is what I should have done rather than doing padding on this, but it's the same thing. So we do have something more like that, and then we can just click on save. So now let's preview that in the front end. Let's go here. So this is what we do have. There's a bit, the design here is a bit different from this, but you understand, like is the same kind of thing that we are doing. I don't know why this is a bit too up and it's not in the middle, but it is what it is. All right, so we have finished laying out everything that we do need to lay out. We're going to add a few more things. I want to go into my video, and then I'm going to go into style, click on container, and then for the border, I want to make this one like 14 pixels like that. And I think that should be good. All right, so the next thing that we are going to do is to add our interactions, and our interactions is going to be possible by using ElementHive's new interactive panel that has been released. All right, so I'm going to show you how to use that. So select your play button div, and then in your advanced mode, let's add a class over here. Let's call this play videos, right? Okay, so we've added that class called play videos, and then let's minimize this. And when you come down over here, you do have ElementHive Pro. Make sure that you are in your advanced mode, and then click on that, and then you have a few options here, but what we want to actually do is interactions. Let's click on the edit. You are going to get something more like this. Let's click on add interactions, right? And then you click on self, because we want to click on that div, so the self. And then the trigger is what? Our trigger is click. So when we click, we want something to happen. What will be our action? Our action is going to be media. And then what do you want the media to do? You can either do play, pause, or stop. right? So let's click on play. All right, and then if we want to delay this, we are going to say delay it for like 20 milliseconds. And then what is going to be your target? So that is where this comes into play. So what we do want to play is the video. All right, we want the video to play. So let's close everything here. When you close, it is going to save it, so don't worry. Let's go into our video, and then let's go into our advanced, and then let's click on advanced over here, and then let's give this one video play. Right, so that is the class for our video. Let's save that. Sorry, let's remember this class name, and let's go back into our play button dev. Let's click back on interaction. Let's open this interaction over here, and then our target is going to be a CSS selector. So what is the CSS selector that we want to apply the play on, or what is the video CSS selector? So that one is going to be video play. But remember that this is a class, and since it is a class, you want to make sure that the period sign is in front of it. If you do not add a period sign, it is not going to work. All right, so we are done with that, and I am going to save it. All right, I want to go into the front end, and I want to refresh. Okay, so when I click on this, you can see that our video is playing, but you can also see that this play thing is also there. We want to actually remove it when we start playing our video. All right, so to do that, let's go back into our development, and in here, still selecting on this play button, we are going to go back into our interaction, right? And then we are going to add a new interaction. Let's click on self, and then for trigger, we want to do click. For action, we want to do toggle attribute. Okay, and then over here, we are going to click on class. Now, what we do want is we want to make sure that that video whole thing, or the play button dev, is removed when we click on play. Okay, so to do that, we have to add a new class that is going to have an animation that is going to remove that whole thing from the screen. So let's call this one play video dash click, right? And let's make sure we put our period sign to the front, and then I'm going to copy this, right? And then we are going to talk about delay. If we want to delay, we can just put a delay of 20 milliseconds, and then our target. So what do we want to target? We want to target, it can either be self, or you can add a CSS class. So whatever way that you do it. So if you do self for the CSS class, it is going to happen. All right, so let's say that we leave it as self, and then we just minimize it and close it. All right, so remember that we are saying that we want a new class to be toggle. Toggle means that you want to add it to your dev, or you want to add it to whatever thing that you have told it to add it to. All right, but we don't have the class in Breakdance. So to do that, let's click on our three dots and go into selectors. Over here, we are going to add a new class called play video dash click. And let's click on add. Make sure that your period sign is there, or else it is not going to work. So our period sign means that this is a class. And over here, what we want to do is we want to go into layout, and then let's go into display none. So display none means that when this class is toggled onto our play button dev, we are going to see display none. The play button is going to disappear. All right, let's save it. And then over here, I'm going to go into our inspector, and you are going to see that our play video then is over here. When I click on play, you can see that it is over here. Nothing has changed. We don't have the class being toggled. So I'm going to refresh it. So let's refresh. All right, now when I click on play, the animation actually doesn't work. And the problem is that, let's go back into our development. What happens is when you do style your dev manually without using a class, the animation wouldn't work, because when you go back over here, you can see that the none, the play video dash click, the none is here, but it is not working because we are already applied like CSS to our main dev. That is why it is not working. So for us to actually fix this, let's go back into our development, and over here we are going to make sure we go into our styling, and then for this we want to remove everything from here, right? And let's go back into our cog icon, click on advanced, and let's click on edit. So this class is attached to the div. So when you click on edit, it is going to bring you to this place. This is where you want to do all your animation. So we are going to click on layout, change this one change it to flex, and then we can do flex column, and we can align everything center, and then we can also center this, and then it goes there like that, and then we can just save it. So now when we go into our front end and we do refresh and then we click on this, now you can see that it is totally gone. Everything is now disappeared. Your video is playing, you have your playing over here, so on and so forth. So we are getting close to finalizing this. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is when we click on here, we want the video to pause and we want our thing to come back, or our play button div, we want it to come back. All right, so let's go in here, and then what we are going to do is let's open our structure panel. Now when this thing goes away, when it goes to display none, the only thing that we do have is your video. So now we want to apply an interaction to the video so that when we click on it, we do get our thing back, our play button, we do get it back. So to do that, select your video, and when you go into your advanced, you go into ElementHive Pro, click on interaction, and then just click on add interaction. Click on south, and then the trigger is going to be click. Your action is what? Our action is to first and foremost, we want to pause our video. So let's click on media, and then let's click on, instead of pause, and let's click on stop, right? You can choose whatever you want. I'm going to choose stop. So it's going to, okay, let's choose pause, and then let's delay this for 20 milliseconds, and then the target is going to be self. All right, let's minimize that, and then I'm going to save this. Let's go back into the front end, let's refresh this, and let's click on here, it is playing. Let's click on here, it stops the video. Let's click, nothing happens because our div is not there. That is going to cause this whole play to start again. So that is where we want to now add that. So going back into our development, back in our video, we can go into our interactions, and then we want to do another one. This one is going to bring back our play button div. All right, so let's click on cell, and then for trigger, we want to do a click. For action, we want to do toggle attribute, click on class, and then what do we want to do? We want to now remove an attribute. Remember that when you do click on the play, you've now toggled the new class, which is play video click. You've now toggled it onto your play button div. But after you have finished and you don't want to continue with the video and you pause it, you want to now remove the play video click. You want to remove it, and when you remove it, the old styling is going to come back again. I hope that makes sense, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the value that we want to toggle is going to be the play video click. We want to toggle that, and then our delay is going to be 20, and then our target is going to be our play videos. So our play videos is the class name for our play button div. I hope you remember that. So when I go back over here, our play button here, our class name is play videos. All right, so let's save this, and then we are going to go to the front end and we are going to refresh. All right, so we are going to test this out. Remember that when you start your play videos, it's now added because that is the class. When you click on play, your play video dash click is now toggled onto that class. When I click back over here, now your play video is the only one left, and your play video click has now been toggled away. So toggle means that if the class is not added to whatever element that you've selected, add it to it, and then when you click it again and you've placed another toggle, meaning that it is going to remove it. So toggle doesn't actually means remove or add. It just means that if a class is not added, add it. If the class is already added, remove it. And that is what we've just done. So when I click again, the video plays. When I click, the video start playing, and then our play is now placed on top of it. So we can just click and play, just keep doing whatever that we do want. The next thing that we want to work on is this thing over here called that playing thing. We want this one to change when we are playing the video, right? Okay, so let's work on that too. So over here, let's go over there, and this is the text, right? I want to give it a class name of play txt. So that's going to be our class name. I'm just going to save that. All right, so what do we want? What we want is that when we do the beginning, right, for the beginning, the video is always paused. So let's make it pause, because that is the right thing to do. So when we click on this play, when we click on this play button, we want this text to change from pause to playing. Okay. All right, so we are going to go back. We have selected our play button in our interaction. Let's click on the edit. Let's add a new interaction over here. Let's click on cell, and then for trigger, play. For action, right, this is going to be different. For action, we want to do modify text. And what text do we want? We want to modify the text into playing. That's the new text that we want to like now do, right? And then for delay, we can do like 20 millisecond. And then what is our target? Our target is going to be a CSS class. So this is the class name, but make sure that you have your period sign, right? So this is the class that we want to do the whole change into. All right, so let's minimize that, and then let's save it. Let's go into the front end. So now when I click on play, it changes to playing. When I click on pause, it's not pausing yet. So we have to fix that. All right, so to do that, remember that the pausing only works from the video. When we click on play, the play button disappears, and the only one that is left is the video. All right, so we are going to add this over here. So when you select your video, and then in interaction, we're going to click on add interaction. Let's click on self, and then the trigger is going to be click. The action is going to be modify text, and then the value is going to be, let's make sure that we have our pause done, and then the delay is going to be 20 millisecond, and for target is going to be CSS selector, and then this is our CSS. Let's make the period sign is in the front, and that is it. So now we can just save it. Let's go back into the front and refresh. All right, so now when I click on play, this changes to playing. Let's wait a bit. When I click on pause, it changes to pause. But then let me show you something. For this to actually really work good, let's click on play. Let's watch the video till the end. So the video is going to play. It is going to stop at some point. Almost there. All right, so the video has stopped playing, right? So let's say you made the video stop playing. When I click on this, what it does is that it brings back our play button, but the play is not playing. You see, that is why we need to fix this too. So let's go back into our development, and then since our video is already selected, let's go into edit, and over here let's click on video options, and then you want to make sure that this video is looping. All right, so the video is looping, so that when you get to the end, the video will restart again, so that your play and your pause actually works. Okay, all right, so let's refresh this. Make sure it's refreshed. All right, so now we're playing again. We can just watch this one to the end. You can see that at the end the video is going to loop, so that we don't have the video stopping, and when you click on play, the video now, it looks like you actually don't know what you're doing. You know, you want to make sure that you actually know what you're doing. You don't want the video to pause, and then when you click on play, it is now still paused. All right, so the video just looped. So when you click on play, it works. When I click on pause, when you click on pause, it works. When you click on play, it also works. All right, so this is how to create an interactive, really cool playing sequence for your video that actually is going to be more interactive than just adding a video and just going your way. So if you have ElementHive and Breakdance, implement some of these things you know, add a bit of as I said, character, add a bit of flair to your website. Don't make it too boring, even though most website looks the same, but you know, change some things with yours. And also, thank you very much for watching. I'm actually really grateful. And if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel too, I'll be glad if you did click on that subscribe button down below, so that you don't miss any of my new videos coming, because I have a ton of videos. Now I'm trying to be more consistent. I'm trying to give you back-to-back videos, you know. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.